attachment leads to depression. Depression leads to anger.
Anger
leads to murdering children.
Younglings. You should
Murdering younglings. Yeah, Yoda sucks in these movies.
Fucking asshole.
Welcome to Road to the Rise of Skywalker, Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith. What'd you think?
It's a very fun film, in my opinion.
It's pretty
bad.
This one has a lot of stuff that I used to think was good, and now I think is completely horseshit. I would say George Lucas is amazing at two specific things. He's an incredible pioneer of world building. And in this movie, you see it more than any of the prequels. Like, every 5 minutes, there's a different world that you're going to. And they're all pretty interesting, like visually. Yeah. The problem is that there's no depth to them.
The problem is that he didn't spend any time on them.
But that's what I mean. He's good at iconography.
Funny thing about The Crow, in this film, I think it's the only Crow that doesn't have like politics in it. It starts, the very first word is war.
Yeah, and weirdly, this film probably is the most political.
And this is the most political one.
This one actually deals with how governments fall. And by deals with it, I mean it barely deals with it at all, except for a couple of scenes.
By deals with it, you mean it just happens. They say, oh, well, let's make the empire.
No, you're forgetting the most important line, which is he declares that he has power, unlimited power.
Unlimited. I thought that was literal. Like, he had like so much power in his fingers and the
No, it's both, Gabe. See, George Lucas is a very sophisticated writer, and by showing that Palpatine is able to generate power, it's also reflecting the fact that he has metaphorical power in government. You see, it's much more clever than you're giving it credit for.
So you're telling me that Count Dooku also had political power?
Well, he's a count. Of course he did.
See, this just means he has money.
Now, you like this opening scene, this opening battle scene.
I think the visual effects look pretty cool.
I think they look good compared to clones.
Yes. Yeah, that's right.
You know what this film could have used more of?
Special effects?
Yeah, my big thing with this opening battle scene is that they're in the middle of like an aerial dogfight, right? Mm-hmm. The first line that they deliver is something like, "Oh, Master, the ship's right ahead." And they're so subdued. Like, I've complained on every single one of these episodes about how wooden the acting is.
Yeah.
This movie truly is inexcusable with how subdued these performances are. Because at least you can argue in Phantom Menace with the scenes that I've pointed out. No, you can't. Because it's people sitting on a ship in a peaceful situation, talking to each other. It's people on Coruscant discussing politics. In this film, they're in the middle of the most extravagant battle you've ever seen. And they're like, "Master, the ship's right ahead. We should turn left this way." And it's like, no, you're in a... He should be screaming out, "Oh my god, look at this, we're gonna fucking die!"
Remember when Mace Windu lands in Geonosis and he just walks up, like he kind of like paces
He
towards...
strolls up to the soldier and he says, "Sir, the battle's going good."
Yeah. Remember that?
Yeah.
It's all the same. It's the same in all three films.
Yeah.
It's really wooden in all three. My funny thing, my complaint about this opening scene, this opening, is that General Grievous' ship...
Takes them 7 minutes to get on the ship.
General Grievous' ship...
Yeah.
It's just a ship.
What do you want it to be?
It's not different than the others. There isn't like a whole fleet around it trying to protect it or anything. It's just a ship in the middle of space.
Yeah.
Around other ships. That looks the same as the other ships. Like, there's not like the Super Star Destroyer in... Oh, I'm sure it's not called that, but that's what everyone calls it.
Yeah.
You look at it, it's bigger, you know that's the bad guy's ship.
We're going to talk about this later on when we get into the podcast, but this movie does a terrible job with cinematically emphasizing things that are significant. The introduction of Grievous is another good example. Like, the first time he's introduced is when they board the ship, and he just comes in and he's wearing... You like Grievous. I think he is almost...
I like Grievous
I think he's almost more worse than Jar Jar.
If you say that, I think I like Grievous because of Clone Wars. And we have it's like a roller coaster of like scenes. there's so many small beats.
How long does it take for them to get to Coruscant? Because all
It's
this
like,
stuff
it's
doesn't
like almost
really...
20 minutes.
Nothing matters except that Dooku dies and Palpatine persuades Anakin to kill him.
Do it. I mean, nothing happens. That's pretty important.
Yeah,
that's pretty massive.
Yeah,
it's the main villain of the last film, and he just
now
dies in the
a lot
first
of people
20 minutes.
claim that the thing that is good about these prequels is that they depict Palpatine's rise to power, which you and I have refuted on these last two podcasts.
Mm-hmm.
I think this film makes a stronger case than any of the other films because this film has to play so much catch up with Anakin and Palpatine's relationship.
Yeah.
Like, all through this film, they talk about, oh, your relationship with Palpatine, your friendship with Palpatine, you and Palpatine are much too close. We haven't seen them interact at all outside of that one scene in Clones.
Yeah.
It's nonsense.
It's pretty
absolute
nonsensical.
nonsense. One thing I want to briefly mention, so the battle's happening over Coruscant, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, this is a huge battle.
Uh-huh.
Business is fine on Coruscant. Like,
Yeah.
no one's freaked out. No one's panicking. No one's evacuating. Can you imagine how interesting the opening of this film would have been if we saw Palpatine get kidnapped? And, like, we saw separatist ships firing on Coruscant?
Yeah.
And we had, like, buildings collapsing, and it was, like, scary?
I don't know when it came out, but there was the animated series. It's 2D animated, not the 3D animated Clone Wars. The funny thing about that, the Clone Wars thing, is that they kind of like do the canon between... It's meant to be canon, what actually happens in between the two films.
Yeah.
You see how C-3PO gets the cloak of gold. You see Anakin get knighted. You see the interaction of Grievous. And you see how the Chancellor is kidnapped. And it ends on the start of this film.
Cool.
There's a huge battle in the city.
Great.
Where is it? There's nothing.
Nothing in this. I actually think that what they do to Padme's character in this film is one of the worst character assassinations, certainly in any franchise I can think of.
Really?
Yeah.
Any franchise? There's a worse one in this franchise.
No, I don't think it's worse. I think this is much worse.
How is this?
Okay. Padme in film 1. She is an assertive young queen who is trying to preserve her people's way of life and preserve their safety. Film 2, she is hunted. She is under threat. And at the end of the film, as you pointed out quite rightly, she is the one who says, Anakin, we've got to go save Obi-Wan. She becomes the leader. Clones, And in the bloody clone battle, she's there. She's fighting. She's the one who tries to shoot down Dooku at the end. She's like a cool character in the first two films. They don't do much with her, but she's pretty cool. In this film, she is transformed into... Anakin, I love you. I'm going to have your baby. I'm just going to wait around until you come home for me. So I can have your baby.
You're right about this. You're completely right.
I think we can both agree that the impact of the war in this film is not felt.
Nope.
At all.
No. They're going to see a show later in the film.
And then we have the greatest scene of Star Wars, which is, I love you. It's because I'm so in love with you.
So love has blinded you? I think that's the worst one.
No, that's not what I mean.
That's the worst one. So love has blinded you.
Padme's pregnant.
And Hayden Christensen, that's the best bit of acting he's done in the whole prequels, which is like...
He's shocked.
He's shocked, and he kind of like...
And he doesn't know how he feels.
He's a bit scared about it. And he says, it's great.
You know why he's scared about it? Because they're standing in the middle of a public street where all of their friends are, and she's very loudly announcing, I'm pregnant, and they've just been kissing, and they're meant to have a secret marriage. Like, they live in the middle of the city on a high-rise... She's like an incredibly famous person.
They live together. That's so weird
They should live in like an apartment. Like, they should have like a little secret getaway.
Yeah, in a random planet.
So Anakin's motivation for the film is to discover the secret to prevent death. And what does he do when he's feeling conflicted and he's got all these negative emotions? He goes to the smartest Jedi of them all, so we're told, Master Yoda.
Yeah.
Who immediately says to him, yeah, don't love anyone.
Don't trust your feelings.
Yeah. Attachment leads to depression. Depression leads to anger. Anger leads to murdering children.
Younglings. You should
murdering younglings. Yeah, Yoda sucks in these movies.
He's a fucking asshole.
He's so rude.
It's like this guy that is it's like they didn't want to take him in.
No.
Initially.
They were like, he's too old.
He's too old, he's dangerous.
He's dangerous.
They say that, they even say that, he's dangerous. Obi-Wan says that. He comes to you saying, I'm feeling like trouble right now. And you're like, whatever.
Yeah, and I know that apparently Palpatine is blocking their force, but just look at Anakin. He looks like he's having a hard time. Maybe Yoda should be like, what's going on with you?
Maybe Yoda's blind.
In the next scene when Anakin is talking with Palpatine, Palpatine says, "You will be placed on the council, Anakin." And he says, "Master, I'm overwhelmed. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Master.
I'm overwhelmed."
This is everything he's ever wanted. If there's ever a time to see Anakin happy and overwhelmed and in joy and gratitude, it's this moment. Now, my favorite goof of the next scene, which is where Obi-Wan's talking with Mace Windu and Yoda, and they're like, we probably shouldn't put these two people together, given that we're highly suspicious one of them may be evil and the other one may be easily corruptible. And Obi-Wan's like, nah, it'll be fine.
Nah, it'll be fine.
Yoda's like, yeah, it'll be fine. And my favorite thing is that they're flying along in one of those clone trooper ships with the doors wide open, and they're speaking at like a temperature. They're speaking at a volume slightly quieter than how we're speaking. Like,
yeah, they're speaking like
it's very dangerous putting them together. I don't trust them.
Is he not to destroy the Sith?
Unclear.
And bring balance to the Force?
Yeah, and the doors are wide open. They're flying through the city, and it's completely quiet.
Yeah, in the last film, it was like, you were meant to protect her, or something like that.
Yeah, well,
Obi-Wan like screaming over. Like,
you'll be expelled from the Jedi Order.
Yes, but he was
I
angry.
always remember that line.
But he was angry.
I don't know
so
why.
It's something epic.
I can't leave her. Oh man! And then Anakin and Padme.
Whoa! So Obi-Wan doesn't do anything about their romance?
No, absolutely not.
He knows about it.
Yeah, he completely knows about it.
Oh, I guess George Lucas forgot about it.
George Lucas kind of forgot about. Mate, are you getting the impression I don't want to talk about this movie?
But you did the same with Attack of the Clones.
That's true. I've got to get. Well, hey,
next
week.
Oh, Solo.
Oh no!
Yes! Solo!
I forgot. Damn it! So Obi-Wan goes to Utapau to hunt down General Grievous.
Yes, and the droids see him.
Not only do the droids see him, but he's saying, "Oh yes, everything's fine here. Nothing is wrong. Everything's happy. There's no war unless you brought it with you."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Oh, okay, we'll give you something here." And then he just steps in like an inch, and he's like, "We're being held hostage. They're right here. They're on level 10. Go kill them all. Did you bring extra backup? We really need it."
Yeah, there's something I never got as a kid.
Yeah.
There's droids looking at Obi-Wan, right?
Yeah. Magna
and then he kind of like orders his droid to make the ship go away.
Yes.
Right? But the droids can see.
The droids can see that he didn't get
into the ship. Like, how dumb are they?
Yeah, but Obi-Wan's a master of the Jedi mind trick, so clearly he just like was mind tricking everyone.
No. And then he gets into the lizard. Do you know the name?
Excuse me, Boga.
So here's the thing about
Boga.
The Boga.
Yeah.
The riding lizard.
Oh yeah.
What are its attributes?
It's really loud and noisy and very obvious.
And is it at all stealthy?
No.
Like every step it does, it's like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah, it's a giant lizard.
Boom. It's a giant lizard, and it keeps screaming at random.
Yeah, and but Obi-Wan's not trying to be stealthy. I mean, the first thing he does is he drops down to the middle of the crowd.
And then Grievous says, well, obviously...
No, excuse me.
Obviously, Obi-Wan says, hello there. Love it.
General Kenobi!
and then Grievous says, kill him! And only those droids with the spinning
he should just be like, just
like,
shoot him.
What about the other 1,000 droids around him? They don't do anything.
He's only one of the most infamous Jedis in the universe. Like, why would you need to shoot him?
And then we have what used to be my favorite fight in the prequels. I watched it again, and it's like, it's kind of
You were saying when we were watching it, you still thought it was cool.
No, and then we watched it. I said it right before it started. And then I was like...
The next scene is Anakin goes and meets with Palpatine.
Yes.
Now, Palpatine is doing everything he can to tell him that he's a Sith Lord. And Anakin finally puts two and two together when Palpatine's like...
He pretty much says that he knows the way of the Dark Forces.
I know the way to save the one you love.
Palpatine, how do you know that? How do you know that Parmesan?
Well, my master, he taught me everything he knew, even the way of the dark side.
Yes.
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean the dark side? Why are you talking about it?
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Anakin, I'm trained in the Force. What do you know about the Force? Where'd you find that out?
I just saw you've been trained by it.
I mean, the other point I just have to make is that at the same time as this scene is happening, it's intercut with Obi-Wan fighting Grievous.
I guess in this film it's a bit like when the leader of the Separatists dies, the new leader of the Separatists is revealed, I guess.
Yeah. Then we get to your favourite scene.
My favourite scene, yep. Where it's clearly set up who are the best Jedi Masters.
Well, Mace Windu and Kid Fisto.
Yeah.
Arrive. The other two don't matter. Mace
The other
Windu
two
and
die
Kid Fisto.
instantly.
They die within the
hilarious.
first 5 seconds.
It's hilarious. Well, what's even funnier...
He may as well not have brought them.
What's even funnier is that Palpatine has his lightsaber on his sleeve.
Yeah, it's hidden up
It's
his
always
shirt.
there, but is it always been there?
He carries it in the Senate with him.
He carries it in the
Just any
Senate.
minute.
One day he drops, it's like, oops, I'm sorry guys, and drops like his like thing.
It's like in the Joker when he drops the gun in the hospital. It's just like, oh, ignore this.
No, it is.
It activates, and they're like, why is your lightsaber red? And he's like, oh, well, you know.
Sorry.
He twirls.
He twirls
through the air.
too.
He twirls through the air going, rah, rah.
He kills.
Stabs one
He stabs
instantly.
one instantly.
He
Second
doesn't even
swing,
try to
he
defend
kills a
himself.
second kill. Then Kid Fisto blocks 2 whole hits, 3, 4, 5, and then dies.
Dies, yeah.
So
His
Kid
two-
Fisto knows how to take.
The fact that Kid Fisto
No, such
dies is a real sign that this is a serious battle.
Yeah, that's right. Kid Fisto, really famous Jedi.
And Windu's holding his own. Windu's really, doing pretty good up against Palpatine. Slices the window. It's an awesome shot.
He wins.
Mace Windu wins, yeah.
Mace Windu wins.
Mace Windu wins by kicking Palpatine down. I have to say, the Jedi do a lot of kicking and punching in this movie.
But only in this film. Not
Only
the
in
other
this film,
ones.
not in the other ones, yeah.
In the other ones,
they just use
maybe
the
they'll
Force.
learn from Darth Maul.
Exactly. I just want to point out, in the middle of this fight, there's a dolly shot where Palpatine's cornered. Mace Windu's got him at saber point. We've just been watching this epic fight between these two
Good
Jedi
backdrop.
Masters. And we cut
Well done,
to
backdrop.
a still wide shot of Anakin walking in at a brisk jog
No.
across the hallway.
He jogs in and then he starts walking.
Yeah, he jogs in and then he turns into a light stroll as he sees, I want to remind you, the most powerful Jedi in the universe holding the Chancellor of the Republic at hostage. This would be like if you walked into the Oval Office and saw the Dalai Lama holding a sword to Donald Trump's throat. Like, it would be the most insane thing you'd ever seen. Like, he'd be freaking out. What happened here? Unlimited power to the Supreme Chancellor of the United Great States of America. Mace Windu's like, he's too dangerous to be kept alive. He needs to die. And you're like, he's wrong. And Anakin's like, he's wrong. Mace Windu's 100% right.
Oh no, he's right. 100%.
This guy is like evil.
He's the last Sith.
He's the last Sith.
He has to be dealt with. Yeah.
Yeah, but
definitely.
Anakin is destined to bring balance to the Force. And right now there is 1 Sith and 100 Jedi. And by the end of this movie, there are 2 Sith and 2 Jedi.
Yeah, that's
So
balance.
Anakin brings balance. It's not the balance they were looking for. Anakin chops off Mace Windu's hand, and Palpatine throws him out the window.
And I can't believe Palpatine actually says power.
You never noticed that?
No. But like,
That was like my favorite line as a kid.
but like,
Power!
you see all the memes, right? With unlimited power.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's pretty funny, right?
That's funny. It's an
It's
exaggeration.
a funny meme.
And in the movie, it's like,
He actually says-
unlimited power!
and he throws him off. And then we have the worst scene in the film.
Sorry,
And your name.
sorry. You mean the
So-
actual worst scene of the film?
Yeah, the actual worst scene when he
What
says,
have I done?
your action, just help myself bite me. Oh, I don't know this power. But if we work together, she's gonna give birth in like 10 hours. Can we just do it now, please?
She literally does give birth in like the next day. He's like,
Yeah.
wait, I joined up with you because you promised me you could save my wife if she was to die, to die in childbirth. And Palpatine's like, oh, I
don't know this power.
and Anakin's like, oh, all right then, and he just kills him
Oh, right
instantly,
then.
which
And then-
is what he should do.
He should have done that, yeah. And
No,
then-
but instead he's like, I pledge eternal loyalty to you, my master.
And then Palpatine just out of nowhere he says,
He
you'll be
pulls out-
named Darth Vader.
No. He doesn't get it out of nowhere. He pulls out a giant lottery machine and starts twirling it. Like, Plagueis, Catan.
Can't do this for me in here.
Oh. Who are the other ones? Tevan. Who are the other, like, Darths? Darth Revan.
Yeah, that's been so long since I've seen that guy.
Then Order 66 is activated. For many people, it's the highlight of the film.
It is to me.
I think it's a scene that relies purely on John Williams' score.
Yep.
And the work of the designers at ILM to make some of the shots.
Well, you can't not put the story in there. Because it's also a story. That's pretty much the end
It's not that sad when it happens. It really isn't. Because we've had 3 movies to get to know these Jedi, and only one of them is a character that has spoken on screen, Ki-Adi-Mundi, who is the first one who dies, credit to them, and I think it's actually the most effective scene of the Order 66 fight, is when all the troopers are following him, and he's saying, come on! And then they all stop, and you see their feet skid to a halt, and then they just open fire on him. It's by far the most...
That's the best.
Yeah. Although, right before that, the bit where Commander Cody, who's just been handed Obi-Wan his lightsaber back, and obviously they're having like this good camaraderie, Obi-Wan rides off, and then he gets the call from Palpatine, Commander Cody.
That's something I actually really like, how
he immediately
cold he is about it.
Yeah. Yoda is the only Jedi we see get the better of the clone troopers.
And I find it hilarious that after Yoda kills the clone troopers, the Wookiees are like, yep, that's what we're doing now.
Oh, okay.
Killing them.
So Obi-Wan and Anakin fight. And it's really long. It really didn't need to be this long.
No, it didn't to be. It's very... We were watching it, right? They start outside, then they go inside the room with all the controls. They fight there for like a good while.
They're kicking each other and punching each other in the face. Like, you have the Force. You don't need to kick each other.
Yeah, then they go outside and they're like in these tubes and like they're trying to not to fall off. They keep fighting there and then go into these huge breaches that then they collapses and
into
stuff.
lava.
It's like, is this one of the like most... What is the word I'm
Overindulgent?
Overindulgent things.
Almost certainly.
In any film. Like, I'm thinking Avengers Endgame and like... You have a huge battle there.
That battle is so short compared to this.
But I'm not even talking about length. I'm talking about what is actually going on on screen. Because they start outside and near the ship and they end up on a river of lava. Jumping around in a hill, like hitting each other.
Yeah, he ends up on the high ground. It's important to say.
But in something like Endgame, it's 2 armies. This battlefield that was a nice area before. It's been blown up by this starship, right? And then they just kind of fight, and then you go into small fighting moments.
Yeah, that's right. It's not really about the whole battle like a Pelennor Fields is. It's much more about who's got the gauntlet. Like, it's a very simple thing you're following.
Yeah, but in here, it's like trying to be so spectacular.
Yeah.
And everything that is going on is like, what?
It's very detached from any
I'm really easy. I'm really good at following what's going on in action.
Yeah.
I play a lot of video games, and I never get confused in video games or anything. And I know a lot of people get confused in video games and action battles like that. But like this is like
you're skipping over
pointless.
You're skipping over the most important point about why this is pointless.
I just wanted to make my point on how stupid the visuals are.
Yeah, no, the visuals are stupid, but the thing that really sucks, the thing that's so pointless about both this battle and the Yoda-Palpatine battle that's going on at the same time, is we know all these characters survive.
Yeah, it's the only battle that we know they're all going to be at.
We know the outcome of everyone. Like
they're only characters that are in the OT.
Yes.
Obi-Wan... Not even Jimmy Smith is in the OT.
No, he's not.
That's what I'm saying. He's not in the OT.
Oh, yeah, so
he could be in a fight.
You're saying he should have been in a lightsaber battle.
No, he should have been like running away from the battles or something. Because we don't know if he's going to die or not.
And if it's meant to be about the tragic fall of Anakin Skywalker, why isn't it tragic? Why does he have to be the most evil human being who's ever existed? It's meant to be about the fall of Anakin Skywalker. But, like, all that's happened is he's lost his arm and he's been burned.
His actions, he's done a lot of radical actions, but...
Well, murdering children.
Yeah.
He went from, I want to save my unborn children, to, I need to murder these other children.
But he's murdering those children to save his unborn child. It's really fucked up.
It's really fucked up.
I wanted to point out something that I find it really funny how George Lucas realized that Anakin had to lose all his limbs.
Yes.
And something happened to his skin and hair and like head.
Because you see that shot
because you see that shot in Empire. All that has to happen to him before the end of the film. So when just one move
in
cuts
one
all
move.
His limbs and then lets him burn.
Lets him burn to death.
Wow, you got there like drastically quick.
Yeah, it's nuts.
Like Jesus.
And
we didn't mention the best fight,
which is what?
Palpatine versus Yoda.
Oh, no, sorry. I was just talking about the genius of George Lucas's symbolism of how Palpatine uses the Senate to fight Yoda.
That sounded sarcastic, but it's pretty cool how he's actually...
It would be cool in a cool movie. I'll concede that it is a very clever way to stage a battle. Padme gives birth to twins, which is a surprise to everyone.
No, they have twins.
They had no idea. She has never seen an obstetrician through this entire process.
She's never had a checkup or anything. She's like, oops.
In this world of fancy robots, there is no robot to tell you how your baby's doing. Anakin gets put in the Vader suit. He does his now infamous line.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let me ask you.
Yes.
What is the final line in this film?
And the final line, spoken in the prequels, because the last couple of scenes are without dialogue, is C-3PO, after being told his mind is going to be wiped, saying, "Oh no!" Yeah, so that's Revenge of the Sith.
And that's prequels. Yeah, but I feel like in Revenge...
Yeah.
George kind of realized how little groundwork he had done to set up the OT. There's a lot of dialogue scenes in Coruscant going back and forth with Anakin to different areas.
Yes.
So
talking to the Jedi, talking to
Palpatine
Palpatine seeing like why the Jedi don't trust him, seeing why Palpatine doesn't
setting
trust
up a lot of stuff, and
they're trying to catch up.
It's a lot of catch up, and it's like, you spend 2 movies, you set up the clones, you set up
the clones,
you set up the love story, and that's all you did in 2 movies, and 2 of those things were in one of those films.
Yes.
It's like, come on, like he had a lot of time to make these films.
Well, thank God that Disney decided before making another trilogy to think out the whole trilogy and how everything would pay off.
I know, right? Thank God they had a plan, and like it's all structured from the start. Oh, wait a second.
Man, I wish these movies were better.
I wish they were good.
You know, people now like to say that the Disney films have destroyed Star Wars and that they're, messes of films. They're a lot better than these films. Yeah. Like, The Last Jedi, which is my least favourite of the Disney films other than probably Solo, that film is much better than all the prequels.
We'll see. It actually might be. I don't know. These prequel films, everyone says, "Oh, well, it has that really interesting Palpatine story." It's like,
I hope we've disproven that.